Alright, what's going on, y'all? It's Cooper here, one half of FCSN. It's that time of the week to break down the college football playoff where I give you guys my personal top four as long as 4 teams I have on the bubble. Make sure you guys stay tuned tonight. It's usually at 7 o'clock. Last week they moved it on to ESPN2 because of a conflict. But 7 o'clock it'll either be on ESPN or ESPN2, 7 o'clock Eastern time, where they release the top 25 poll and the 4 teams in the playoff. With that said, let's go ahead and jump straight into my top 4. At number 4 overall spot, I've got Mississippi State. They only lost to Alabama, who is now currently the #1 team in the country. They went out last week, very impressive response to the loss, and just blew Vanderbilt out of the water. Vanderbilt even having a down year by their standards, but still, Mississippi State played very impressive, and that was a great way to respond to a loss. And if Alabama wins this weekend, and Mississippi State's able to beat Ole Miss, they won't have to play for that SEC championship. Their season will be done, and their one loss will be to Alabama. I don't think by year's end there's any way you can leave Mississippi State out of that playoff contention if they continue to win out. So I think Mississippi State will be a lock of that 4th spot if Alabama and Mississippi State win out. That's if those 2 teams win out. At number 3 spot, I have Oregon. Oregon is playing like either the first or second best team in the country right now. That one loss, though, is going to hurt them, and that's why I have a number 3 spot. In my personal opinion, I know a lot of people disagree with this. I don't think it was fair for them to jump Florida State. I think Florida State and Oregon's schedules are very similar. I know the Pac-12 is a lot tougher on what Florida State has, and maybe Florida State has a few games that aren't as tough as Oregon, like week to week. But if you get the top 5 games from Oregon's schedule, take the top 5 from Florida State's. They're pretty comparable. I say they're pretty the same. Oregon probably a better team than Florida State at this point in time, but they have that bad home loss to Arizona. Arizona better than people have thought, but you lost at home. You dropped the game. Oregon, if you win out though, lock for the playoff, and this team is playing hot. I would not want to play Oregon a neutral site. At number 2 overall spot, I've got the Florida State Seminoles. Like I said, they haven't lost. I can't drop them. They have not played well at all. At times they're able to turn it on and look like the best team in the country. Like the second half versus Miami, they only gave up 3 points and they looked outstanding. I'm like, where is this team the whole game? Week after week, it's Boston College. The same kind of stuff happens. They have flashes and they have moments where they look unbeatable, and then they have other moments where, like, why is this team even ranked? It's really confusing. I don't know how words to describe it, but Florida State sits at 2. In my opinion, I don't think they should be jumped until they lose. They got a tough test against Florida. Florida a lot better than people think they are. They're just kind of up and down. But if they want to come to play, they're playing for Muschamp in that last game. Florida State on upset alert for sure this weekend. And then the number 1 overall spot, I got the Alabama Crimson Tide. If they're able to win out, their resume is most impressive. This team is dominant, playing their best football at the right time. They are just clicking on all cylinders. And Alabama is going to be a tough team to beat, especially at this point in the season. This is my top 4. With that said, though, let's go ahead and jump into the 4 teams that I have on the bubble. Alright, so here's a look at the teams that I've got on the bubble. Let me explain real quick. When you look at that last spot, it says SEC or Pac-12. If Missouri or Georgia, because Missouri has an SEC game left. They have Arkansas on Friday night. Georgia done with their SEC schedule, but I think they still have to beat Georgia Tech. If the SEC East is able to beat either Alabama or Mississippi State somehow, some way, and they win that game, I don't think you can deny the SEC champion or the Pac-12 champion, for that matter, whether that's Arizona State or UCLA. I don't think you can deny those teams if they're able to say they beat Oregon, they beat Alabama, they beat Mississippi State. I don't think you can deny them a playoff spot. I think they take that team spot that they beat, and I think they should represent. If you win, the Pac-12 and the SEC are the 2 best conferences in college football this year, and pretty much the past couple years. And I just don't think if you win that conference, you should be out of the playoff. Georgia has 2 losses, and that's not that bad. Like, all the people that could win it only have 2 losses, and they're all very impressive teams that could compete. I don't think it's fair to leave them out, and that's why I have them at this spot. And I don't think this isn't even in the bubble. This is like they have a chance. They're going to play the game. If they win that game, I think they're in. But you can't throw them in the playoff because it's not really an exact team. It's just to see who it's going to be. At the, what number is this? 7? Yeah, 7. I have Ohio State playing great football right now. They started slow versus Indiana, but were able to pull away in that game. JT Barrett, is playing like a real-time Heisman contender. And Ohio State is hot right now. I believe they're going to have to play Wisconsin eventually if they continue to win in that Big Ten championship game. That's going to be a tough test, but if Ohio State is able to win these games, they're not in control of their own destiny right now, but they're going to put themselves in great shape to make the playoff. They'll be maybe just the outside looking in, but like I said, they're in good shape. They just got to see how everything plays out. TCU, Baylor. I know people say TCU is ahead right now because of their overall resume. Baylor has yet to play Kansas State, and TCU also beat Minnesota out of conference. Baylor's going to play Kansas State, and Baylor also won the head-to-head versus TCU, so eventually Baylor will jump TCU, in my opinion. I think that's right. They won head-to-head. Even though TCU dominated the majority of that game, Baylor won the head-to-head, and they've been playing some hot football as well. Both these teams are tough, and I think eventually, somehow, some way, most likely a Big 12 team will make their way into the playoff. These guys are kind of interchangeable until we're able to see who the true conference champion is at the end of the year. With that said, though, leave your top 4 in the comment section below. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Follow me on Twitter at CooperFCSN. I hope you enjoyed it. This is Cooper, signing out.